Welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca. This practice is a love letter to your feet, your foundation, your first connection to the earth. Together, we'll gently open the toes, soften the ankles, and awaken the deep intelligence of the feet. As we slow down, the body listens. As we ground, the nervous system softens. So come as you are, settle in, and let your feet remember how it feels to be cared for. You'll want a ball and a couple of blocks for this practice. It could be a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball. Join me on the mat. We'll begin in a comfortable seat, cross-legged or kneeling. You could also sit and prop your hips up on a block. Begin with closing the eyes, relaxing shoulders away from ears, and taking 3 deep breaths to come into our body, into this moment, and to arrive here on our mat. Use the breath as a tool to rinse away anything that came before this moment, anything that awaits you after. This is an invitation to return to self, to come into your body, to be present. Gently flutter the eyes open. If you are not cross-legged, you might come into this cross-legged position now. You could also make it a sleeping butterfly. We're going to begin with right foot, and I want you to interlace your fingers between your toes to get a nice big toe spread. And then just start to move, work the toes forward and back. I first learned this, gosh, it's been over 10 years now, but when I first learned about splaying the toes and placing the fingers between, and for someone who had suffered from bunions, this right here was an absolute game changer. And if you haven't noticed on some of my videos, I wear toe spacers, which do this exact same thing, but also allows me to wear them in my daily footwear, as long as you've got wide toe boxes. This splay of the feet creates a stronger, more solid foundation. And then do a little foot massage, manually massaging the bottom of your foot, squeezing the heel, taking your thumb across your arch, knead it. You might even play with straightening, pulling the toes. You could press the sole of the foot down and massage the top of the toes, the space between the bones. Lots of different ways to do this. Switch left foot, interlacing the right fingers through the toes. And this might take a second, especially if some of the toes are close together. Move it in circles, forward and back. Just offering some kindness to your feet, kindness to the foundation that carries you. Our feet do so much for us. And often they are covered. The sole of our shoe can keep us disconnected from the earth versus connected to it. And that's changing as footwear starts to change, and this barefoot model has arrived, which I feel like is definitely a benefit for most of us. And release that toe splay and give yourself a massage on the bottom of the foot. Squeezing along the ankle, maybe taking it up towards your Achilles. Pulling, stretching through the toes, and massaging that space between the bones, between the toes on the top. My pinky toe on the right hand side, I could not move, but about 5 years ago, I was able, between having some massage therapy and actually working on foot function was able to restore the function in that pinky toe after like 20 years of not having had it really move on its own. All right, butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees drop out to the sides. And if you want, you could add that toe splay, the finger interlacing for the toes. You do not have to do this. Finding a nice tall spine, grounded hips, soles of the feet pressing toward one another. So the soles here are creating a connection between the right side and the left side, bringing them together at the center, just like the pelvis bone, which is not one piece. I want to say initially it's 5, but they fuse together. And then we end up with the 3 different joints, 2 at the base of the sacrum, 1 at the pubic bone in the front. 2 pieces, but 3 different connection points. If you would like to deepen the stretch, you could hinge forward. Soften your breath. Use the breath to cultivate this sacred space of presence, of developing our self-awareness. I know sometimes when we're at home, we can hear noises, and if we've got people in the house or pets, and it can be distracting. Maybe you've got your phone right next to you. Try to let the distractions go and really allow this time to be for you, about you, and enjoying the pause. No need to rush or to force. This is your love letter to yourself. Can we worship at our own feet? That is not an uncommon visual. In sacred texts, people came to the feet of gurus to worship. Why not worship at our own feet, our own inner guru, that teacher that resides within each and every one of us? Our divine source, our soul. Ever wonder why the bottom of the foot was called the soul? I do believe there's a deeper meaning, a deeper connection. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Press your knees down toward the floor, anchor through your hips. Gently release. We'll bring right knee in. Press right heel down. We're just going to do some ankle rotation. Bring your hands to right knee. We do this to remind ourselves to not move the knee. We're just going to move through the foot and the ankle. So I want you to drop your big toe towards center and then take your pinky toe out. So big toe comes towards center and then pinky toe presses out. Really slow and controlled, being mindful not to move your knee. We want to isolate this movement simply in the ankle and the foot. Got a little movement in my toes as I'm doing this. One more time. And release. release the right foot. Now press down into left heel. Toes are lifted off the floor. Hands at left knee as that reminder to not move the knee. Big toe drops to center, and then we take it out to the side. Center and to the side. Slow and control. Isolate the movement. A couple more times. We're going to come up to standing, grab your ball. Take that ball underneath the foot and roll around on it for a little foot massage. And afterwards, we're going to take a forward fold to stretch through the hamstrings. So believe it or not, the muscles, tendons, ligaments that are here on the bottom of the foot all run up along the backside. So by rolling out the foot, we might actually get our hamstrings to soften a little bit more. The fascia that's connected to the bottom of the feet, in Thomas Meyer's book, Anatomy Trains, he shows that fascia from the bottom of the feet goes all the way up along the back side of the body, along the rectors, along the spines, and actually attaches right here at the eyebrows. Now a lacrosse ball, which is what I'm using, is a little more intense. A tennis ball could offer a little more softness. All right, let's switch it. Take it to the other side. And you want to get in along the arch, both on the inner edge of the foot, the outer edge, the ball of the foot. Really exploring. Set your ball off to the side. Feet parallel. Hinge at your hips. Lengthen the top of your head forward and then fold forward. Feeling down into your whole foot. Not just the front of the foot, but also the back, the inner and the outer edge. Try to spread those toes nice and wide. Let that weight fall forward and back a little bit. You could add a sway from side to side. You could use your blocks underneath your hands to support the posture. Maybe take a ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows. As we bow toward our feet, our roots, our soul. You might even bring to mind all the places your feet have taken you. Feel free to move the head side to side or make a nod, a sway. Folding forward offers us this inward glance. It literally takes the gaze inward, where we turn to our own internal teacher, our inner guidance system. From here, come to a toe squat. Hands coming to the floor or to blocks, lifting the heels, coming up onto your toes, hips to heels. You might keep your hands down on the floor, or you might bring hands to heart to play with this balance a little bit. And then directly into toes pose, everybody's favorite. Shift here toward the center of the mat. The knees come down, the toes stay tucked. We want to think about squeezing the ankle bones together. I'll show you. I'm turning my orientation here. Be sure to not just let the heels drop out to the sides, which brings more weight into the pinkies. This might work really well for those of us who are supinators, but we want to try to bring those heels directly up toward the ceiling, toward our hips, which brings more pressure into the big toes. And believe me, I feel this one. I've had surgery in both toes. But if it feels too painful, just know that you don't have to go for maximum intensity. You can come out of this at any time. You can bring the hands forward. You could place a block or a blanket in between your hips and your heels. Now, what I always like to remind myself here is just to focus on the breath. Notice if I'm trying to hold the stretch elsewhere, like in my face, am I tightening at my jaw, or are my shoulders getting tight? This is one of those postures where I really work on relaxing, softening, and surrender. This is really stretching out our plantar fascia. They make socks that you can sleep in at night to have this flexion in the toes for plantar fasciitis. This is a very therapeutic position for the feet, for the toes. And if we have really stiff soles on our shoes, we actually miss. In these barefoot shoes, they allow for the flexion in the toes, something like a hookah or a Dansko. They're really stiff, so we don't quite get the toe flexion. I'm not suggesting that it's a good or bad thing, it's just a place of awareness. If we're wearing soles that are real thick and don't allow for that kind of movement, we want to balance it out. Like when we get at home, try to go without shoes, so the toes can get a little more movement. It's also super positive to be able to just be barefooted on the grass, on the ground. There are negative ions that we receive. They help to balance out our nervous systems, to calm us down. All right, let's bring it forward and let it go. Press the tops of your toes down and gently tap, tap, tap. For an ankle stretch, start to drop your hips to your heels. So now toes are no longer flexed and we're getting a stretch through the front of the ankle. If you needed to, you could place a block or a couple blocks under your hips if this feels like too much. Now we all have different range of motion as it relates to ankle mobility. If you've got a little bit more, you could press the hips back and lift the knees up for this ankle extension. This could also be done in a dancer style, taking the knee out to the side, pressing into the toes. And then of course you'd want to switch to the other side. Blocks for this next round. Coming forward to all fours. Step right foot forward. And I'll move my blocks here so you can see. Letting the knee drive forward of the toes, keep the heel grounded, and then pressing it back. So this is for dorsiflexion of the foot. Let's do this a few times. Now hold the stretch of that knee driving forward. Don't cheat, keep that heel grounded. It's not gonna increase your ankle mobility if you lift the heel. And then let the knee drive back a little bit. You might adjust the blocks, bringing it on a higher setting, lizard or lunge pose. And then press into right foot and lift the heel and lower. Lift and lower. And then hold the lift of the heel here for 3 deep breaths. Bring the heel down, keep the foot grounded, and just hold your lunge. You could bring it more upright, option to rest your hands on your thigh, or maybe even drop it down closer to the floor with more of a hinge in the hips and the torso. Like a high lizard or a low lizard. Spread our toes wide like a root system for stability, and remembering this connection of our feet to the earth, our feet to our bodies. Gently release. We will switch, stepping left foot forward and driving that knee forward. Keep your heel grounded. Send the knee back of the toes, just forward and back. Little pulses. Let the knee drive forward of the toes, grounded heel, and hold it. Send the knee and the hips back. Adjust my blocks, press into left toes and lift the heel and lower. Lift and lower. And then hold that heel high, 3 deep breaths. Heel down and hold your lunge. Whether you stay upright, which offers a little bit more of a back bend, but if you have any discomfort in the back, you could hinge your torso forward. You don't have to use the blocks. You bring your forearms up to your thigh to rest. Rather than trying to force yourself into a shape, make it be a shape where you can arrive and simply be. Breathe and be. That is the foundation of yin, is being versus doing. Spread toes wide for stability and connection, to reinforce this cultivating of our foundation. Relax and release through the breath. And gently take left foot back. Take your feet wider, knees wider than hips width distance. Start to walk the hands back, coming to Malasana, back of the mat. Now you might use a block or two to support your hips. You could come onto your back for Happy Baby with the feet up toward the sky. This offers us a little more dorsiflexion in the ankles, carrying weight on the foot, the feet, the ankles. You could challenge dorsiflexion. The toes can be out wide, heels in, or you could start to try to bring those feet parallel. It's a different version of the squat. It can help strengthen the front side of the leg. Posterior tibialis. Bring hands to heart. Maybe soften the gaze. Just letting the hips drop down toward the earth, the top of the head lengthen up toward the sky. This really is one of my favorite postures. I do it every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It's super helpful for digestion. It puts the pelvis in a supportive position to release, to digest, to let go. It's very popular in the Eastern cultures to either have conversations in a squat position or to do this after a meal. And when we start to lose this function in the feet, in the hips, it becomes harder and harder for us to get on and off of the floor. So for longevity, this is really the gold standard, this posture in yoga. All right, let's release it. Our last posture is going to be legs up the wall. Now you can do this in the center of your mat if you have wall space available like I do. I am going to take my legs directly up the wall and bring my hips as close to the wall as possible. If you had a chair, you could also put your lower legs on a chair to mimic this position. So spine is grounded, feet are lifted. Can you feel that rhythm and aliveness in your feet as you send them up toward source? Offering our souls up to the divine, toward the cosmos, the powers that be, to space. To sink into gratitude for all that our feet offer us, holding us up, allowing us to walk forward, our little toes like foot soldiers, checking out what is ahead of us. And to hold our feet in sacred awareness. That we stand on sacred ground. And the earth receives from us and we receive from it. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. Pause the video. Or gently begin to release, drawing the knees in toward your chest. And take a happy baby. Ready, rolling to your side. Press up to a seat. As we began, palms to heart center, softening the gaze inward. And thanking yourself for the kindness that you've offered your feet. Hariam Tat Sat.